What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great week. Depending on when you are watching this, we are back with another Nerd Talk podcast episode with a new guest for this episode. So I will let our guests introduce themselves, and we'll jump right into it.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Shilly. I am a Florida cosplayer. I've been cosplaying for, I think, around 12 years, and my specialties lie in foam work, body paint, and sewing. And my favorite things to cosplay are Star Wars characters. So thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
No problem. I think I came. I think I just usually when it comes to like getting guests on and stuff like that, I think I came across your Instagram, and it was probably your Padme. Uh, I think that was the one that caught my attention. I was like, oh, you know what? I really like her stuff. So let's shoot her a message and see how it goes. And obviously, you're here, so
Yeah.
it went relatively well. So, where do we see? Where do we want to start? Okay, let's start with. So, you've been cosplaying for how long again?
I think 12 years this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
what what got you into cosplaying?
So I remember I went to a I don't want to say small convention. It was a relatively large convention back when I was in like, I don't know, probably a freshman or sophomore in high school. And cosplay wasn't really my thing. I showed up in like a little like anime schoolgirl like off of like from Hot Topic like cosplay or whatever, came with a couple of my friends, and I had absolutely no intentions of like really enjoying it. I just kind of wanted to go and see what was up, and I fell in love with the community and the atmosphere and the camaraderie of the cosplay community. And it was a 3-day weekend con, but I only went for Saturday, and I found myself kicking myself for not going Friday and Sunday. And I think that's where it all started off. And from there, I regularly attended that same. It's called MetroCon. I attended
Okay.
that same MetroCon every year until I finally just started full sending and going to every con in the area. But it really was just attending this first con when I think I was like 14, and realizing like, wow, this is a community I could see myself hanging out in for forever, essentially.
uh, so what was your what was there like your what was it so what was it like for you, like you go to your very first con? What was that experience like for you?
It was just so much fun. Like I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure what to expect. And I try to talk about this issue often. Cosplayers unfortunately have, a negative stigma, like a negative stereotype that they're just a bunch of nerds, we're a bunch of weirdos. And so, me being 14, I was like, is that true? Are they weird? Are they creepy? Like, am I going to have like an awful time? So I didn't really know what to expect. So I really went into it with almost zero expectations. And I remember what really got me was seeing like a group of like Spider-Man cosplayers just
Oh.
literally running around and dancing. And I was like, oh my God, that is so funny. I just absolutely adore that. So I think that like just it was scary, it was nerve-wracking, but like I immediately just felt so comfortable when I got there.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, to be fair, like I was probably one of those people because growing up uh, in high school, I had a good bit of friends who were like into anime and things like that. I don't think I ever saw them cosplaying until a little bit later on, but I was always kind of like, these guys are kind of weird. So I don't know
Right,
if
right.
I want to hang out with them. But one of the things about doing this podcast series is like just like getting to know different variety of cosplayers, and basically from almost all over the world. Because most of the people I've had on are from the U.S. I believe I've had two from Canada,
Wow, that's awesome.
one from the Caribbean,
Wow.
one from,
Cool.
let's see, Australia, the UK, Poland.
Wow. I'm like, I don't even know anybody in any of those countries at all.
And so we it's been quite a ride having large, vast majority of these cosplayers come on for sure.
That's so fun.
Um, so when it comes to you, what was your first set of cosplays that you did at since you're started very young, where obviously you're not as proficient in making your cosplays as obviously you are now. So what was that process like for you, just starting out making these cosplays?
Yeah, so like I said before, my first the first time I attended a convention, I remember I just bought like a cute like schoolgirl skirt from Hot Topic and just happened to have like a button-up shirt at home to go with it. And that was my cosplay. And after that one con, um, I knew I really wanted to get into it, but I thought, I'm 14, 15 at the time. I don't have a job. I'm like, how can I afford this? What can I do? And so I went the easiest route possible. And I thought, what's a character that I enjoy that I don't have to put too much effort into? And so I chose Tinkerbell because my biggest thing for me was I had no idea how to wear a wig. No idea. So that was completely foreign to me, and it honestly quite scared me. So just because I had at the time naturally blonde hair, I decided like, why not? Like so all I had to do was throw my hair up in a bun, get a Tinkerbell dress and some wings, and I was good to go. So that was like the first kind of silly little. It was a silly little like Halloween costume, and then from there it turned into being able to, once I got my first job in high school, being able to afford commissions. Um, so I remember Tinkerbell was my first, but my first like real in-depth cosplay was Princess Anna from Frozen
Oh,
because I just absolutely adore Princess Anna. She's my spirit animal. So I remember I was actually saving up for a Justin Bieber concert, and then I realized, you know what, I kind of want to save up for a cosplay instead, and ended up spending the money that I had that I was going to go see Justin Bieber on a fully commissioned Princess Anna costume from Etsy. And I wore Anna for God, like 5, 6, 7 years. I just retired her last year, so that's kind of all where it started. I really just wanted something simple, and I knew that I could kind of delve into wigs and makeup and stuff a little bit later.
okay. So what are some so what so fast forward, what are some cosplays that most people recognize you from that you've done over the years?
Definitely Ahsoka. I did not create an online platform like Instagram and TikTok until I started cosplaying Ahsoka. So when I first came into the world of Instagram, into the world of cosplay Instagram, the first things that I started posting were my Ahsoka cosplays. So I would say Ahsoka's number one, Padme and Spider Gwen are probably number two. But I've done three different variations of Ahsoka so far because I just love her. So I would definitely say Ahsoka is what I'm most well known for, which makes me super proud because I love her and I love her character.
Okay. Okay. What are some cosplay projects that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so I'm actually building Mandalorian armor right now.
Oh, wow.
And so I've had a little bit of trouble with that because first of all, it took me forever to get everything together for the armor. But the flight suit is what's really bothering me right now. Getting flight suits specially tailored to me has been quite an issue. So right now, the flight suit is at the tailor's. So while the flight suit that's a tailor, I'm currently working on a Hatsune Miku, but I'm working on like a succubus Hatsune Miku. So I actually have it right next to me. I'm working on like little head wings right now. So I just
Oh,
painted them
wow.
last night. So this is where I'm at now. And I need to be finished with this in about a month. So I'm really, really crunching it right now.
um, so what are you mentioned that you've traveled to some of the other cons. Where all have you been?
So I have not been outside of the state of Florida for a cosplay convention. I would absolutely love to do that someday. Um, my main conventions usually are Holiday Matsuri, MegaCon in Orlando, MetroCon, and pretty much anywhere in that. I mean, I'll try to go as far as I can within the state of Florida.
Well, what are some cons outside of Florida that you really want to go to at some point?
Well, I would really love to go to Star Wars Celebration. So
Oh.
it used to be something, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it used to be something that Star Wars as an entity itself would host every year in a different part of the world. And so now I think they've switched it to every other year, not quite sure why. But this year, in 2025, it was in Japan.
Mm.
And that was just way out of my comfort zone. I've only been out of the country once, not even for cosplay. Nevertheless, on the other side of the world. So I wasn't quite sure how I would bring Ahsoka, how I'd bring Padme, pack them into my suitcase. Um, and so they just announced at Star Wars Celebration this year that Star Wars Celebration 2027 will be in Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
which is perfectly doable for me because that's in the United States. And all I got to do is load my car up or pack a suitcase and not have to worry about traveling the world. So I would definitely in 2027 love to go to that.
All right. Yeah, because I actually had two friends who I've had on before, like just talking Star Wars based content and things like that.
Yeah.
They actually went to Star Wars Celebration in Japan.
Yeah.
Um, they had a blast. That was
Yeah.
like I was very happy for. I watched some of it when I could, just obviously
Mhm.
because of time difference and stuff like that. But I did catch a lot of the stuff that was announced, and then I did a follow up video just going over some of the projects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, lost it. Like I, as of right now, unless something obviously changes, I do plan on trying to attend
Yeah.
that. I
Keyword
do.
is trying. Keyword is trying.
Yes, I understand that a lot of people, especially when it came to Star Wars Celebration Japan, trying to get in the queue and all that stuff was very hectic, and
Yeah.
it's just I was just like, oh, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I know the plan is of right now. We'll definitely try to make that happen because I would like to go at least once in my lifetime.
And it was here in Florida back when I was in high school. It was in Orlando. And I was in high school, so I was like, number one, I couldn't afford it. And number two, I was like, what even is this? I was bare minimum cosplaying at that time. And so like I still to this day, at 26 years old, I kick myself. I kick my 14, 15-year-old self for not going when it was here in Orlando. So yeah, the hope same is hopefully I can make it there in 2027 and maybe we'll see each other there. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. Um, and so then I also I do want to travel and see other cons as well. Typically, there's some around where I live that I go and check out from time to time, and then there's Dragon Con in Atlanta. Uh,
Yep, yep,
One of the
yep.
big famous ones that everybody very much enjoys going to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, it's very fun. I enjoy it, and but there are maybe like there are a few others that I do want to check out at some point.
Yeah,
Um,
why not,
so
you know?
yeah, if there, well maybe Florida. It's been a while since I've been to Florida.
Okay.
So megacon. I have heard of megacon quite a few times. I know there's some. I think I watched some high profile YouTubers go
Hmm.
the other couple. When was the last one?
I think it was February of this year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend MegaCon though. It's a little I don't know. It's a little crazy. Like this year they had us all packed in there like sardines, and if somebody started lighting the place up, like we wouldn't have had a place to run. Like it was kind of crazy.
I've seen a lot of people talk about that too. Maybe not megacon. There's one maybe in Arizona, maybe I think,
Uh-huh.
but there's I've seen people talk about it how like basically there's maybe too many people
Yeah.
getting
Way too many
into
people.
into these cons, and it's because I remember last year with Dragon Con. So the 2 years ago when I first went, I was able to get into the vendors hall relatively easy, where we could go in buy stuff from the vendors and stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But last year it was insane. Like it was like wrapped around two city blocks just to get in.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. uh, Keep in mind, this is also in Atlanta
Right.
in the middle of August, so
Yeah.
it's hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Hot and
like, you know what? No, not worth it.
no. And I'm very extroverted, but something like that sounds like not fun. Not worth it, at least. Like maybe when you get inside, like, yeah, it would be super fun, but I don't know.
uh, and so like it's very cool. So so Star Wars related, what got you into Star Wars?
So I have my family growing up has always been a Star Wars family. I
Oh,
remember being a child and, of course, living with my parents. And when I say child, I mean like elementary school. Very, very young, and my parents sitting me down and having me watch Star Wars. And I remember they showed it to me, um, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Of course, the way that they watched it growing up.
right.
And so I just remember like having a crush on Luke Skywalker, having a crush on Anakin Skywalker. And then, living in Florida, I've been very fortunate to be a Disney pass holder a good majority of my life. So growing up, they had Star Wars weekends at Hollywood
Mhm.
Studios. My parents would take me and I would see all these awesome Star Wars characters. I remember meeting Darth Maul, Zam Wessel, Queen Amidala, and I just loved it. I just thought it was so fun. So Star Wars has always been a part of my life, but I wouldn't have really considered myself a super fan
Mhm.
until I watched The Mandalorian. And
Okay.
The Mandalorian is really what did it for me, because at that time that The Mandalorian started to become really popular, I was struggling with a lot of pretty intense mental health issues, and one of them being severe anxiety. And so, really, all I would really look forward to would be to come home, sit in my bed, and watch The Mandalorian. And that was when I was introduced to Ahsoka Tano. And I just remember thinking, like, she is just such an awesome girl boss, like
Mhm.
hero. And which then from Mandalorian then inspired me to start watching the Clone Wars, because I had
Okay.
never watched it before. And so, of course, then again, really the only thing I would look forward to is, after working all day, I would come home and just binge like 5 or 6 episodes of the Clone Wars. And that time in my life was just so healing and so peaceful that, that was when I thought, like, I want my next cosplay project to be Ahsoka Tano. And then working, sitting, going to work, having a terrible day at work, coming home, being by myself, plugging my headphones in, and just building Ahsoka was just so healing. And that's really why Star Wars means so much to me, and why I continuously choose to cosplay Star Wars characters that I feel connected to.
Okay. Did you was that what was it was it that Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser? Was that was in Florida, right?
Yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to go. It was like $2,000 a night with like a
Oh yeah.
2 night minimum. So like
Yeah.
4 grand minimum, I was like, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah, I remember watching I forgot her name. There was some YouTuber. She had like a 10-hour video of
Oh,
her like breaking down her time at Galactic Star Cruiser, and now they turn it into, I think, offices now, and so
yeah, yeah, very disappointing. I was really hoping they would make it some sort of like something, but
yeah.
nah, where they just go to process paperwork.
So it's very, very disappointing. Yeah, because I remember when it first was announced, and I was like just checking it out and things like that, and then I would like see the prices. I'm just like, no, this ain't it. This ain't it, Chief. This is a little bit too much.
And
So
I feel like you could have gotten a very similar experience just going into the park and interacting with characters. Like,
yeah,
like, I don't know.
I agree. I agree. You probably definitely could have done the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so Star Wars like movie, TV show wise, things like that. What has been some of your favorites that you've watched over the years? I know you mentioned like The Mandalorian, but well, I guess in Clone Wars. But what are some of the other projects that you like?
This is going to sound like a very clout driven answer because it's so popular right now, but my
Mm,
favorite has pretty much always been Andor.
agreed.
I love Mandalorian. I love Ahsoka. I love the Clone Wars, but Andor's storyline, in my opinion, is just really unparalleled to any other Star Wars project. And I know we're just coming off of the second season, but the first season was what really pulled me in, because not one episode could I figure out where things were going? You know, like every episode was different and led in a different direction, and you just never knew where they were going to take it. And that's what I really liked about it, because it was so unpredictable in a good way. And then, of course, season two was just literally like the best piece of Star Wars cinema, literally ever. So I still like wake up on Tuesdays and like, damn, I'm not gonna have Andor tonight. Like that sucks.
Oh I covered it here on the channel weekly. I don't remember if I did. I don't remember if I did the first season. I think I did the first season. I know I definitely did the second season, and Andor is one of those Star Wars projects that not a lot of people got invested into it. Like I know some people are like, it's too slow. It's just not interesting. It's not Star Wars. You know, they're
Lame.
basically the rhetoric. But like, yeah, you could like after you get it, like it takes a little bit. It does. Like I think what both seasons 1 and 2, you kind of have to just push through those first 3 episodes,
Yeah.
and then it really kicks off and it really gets going, and that's when Andor is definitely at its best. Um, because obviously a lot of people, one of the things I loved about it was really in season 2, um, how menacing the Empire was, because you don't really see it that much, particularly
Right.
with the original trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some other pieces of media here and there, but like just watching, like particularly with the whole Gorman
Yeah.
situation and stuff, and just watching how methodically they plan things out and how
Yeah.
they spent so much time weaving in like propaganda stories, stuff like that, to convince people what the Gormans are pretty much bad guys, and that kind of thing. I thought that was relatively cool.
Oh yeah.
um and I love it's a good show, and I hate that a lot of people did not watch it. um it was a very expensive show,
Right.
but but they used their money well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was just really cool to see.
Anybody who doesn't like Andor has got to be blind and deaf. Like it's not. It's literally brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, what are your okay? What about Skeleton Crew? Did you watch that?
Oh my God, I sound like such a fake fan, but that is the one Star Wars TV show I haven't watched.
Oh,
And I know it's crazy, and especially because the actors and actresses, they were here at megacon this year, and that was a big reason why I didn't watch it, because I knew if I watched it then I would want to blow money on meeting them. um but I was nervous at first because I felt like it was going to be a kids TV show.
mm.
And it also came out right after they announced that they were no longer going to be moving forward with the season two of Acolyte. And I'm a really big Acolyte fan. I loved the Acolyte, so I was really disappointed and really upset at Star Wars. And so like I just haven't watched it yet. And I feel like such a fake fan because Star Wars is like literally my life. Um, but I have had friends tell me like it is absolutely not a kids TV show and you would really like it. So it's on my list. It's on my list. It's next up.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation uh not long. Actually, I think we did a review of the Acolyte, and it was a situation where like it kind of basically happened like I thought it was, where's the Acolyte was a very divisive Star Wars project.
Hmm.
Skeleton Crew was the exact opposite. Like a lot of people from what I saw, like on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, really liked what Skeleton Crew did,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
so it was such an interesting thing to watch. Um, and then like obviously I love the Clone Wars animated series.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I
Big fan.
love the Bad Batch.
Hmm.
My friend Katrina, or like Katarina, she loves the Bad Batch, and
Yeah.
so
It's
she
good.
she can probably talk about it for hours. Um, Rebels, I do like. It took me a while to get into Rebels because of like going from the Clone Wars animation to the
Yeah.
style of animation for Rebels was a little bit jarring. I was like, oh, I don't know if I really like this animation all that much, but Rebels is a good series as well. I haven't watched Star Wars Resistance.
I haven't
Um,
watched it either.
Man, I the first two seasons of The Mandalorian were good. Season 3 was not that great, honestly, but there were some aspects about it that I did enjoy. It just wasn't that great of a
Yeah,
series to me.
I
Uh,
agree. I agree.
Book of Boba Fett. I actually liked Book of Boba Fett,
I
and
liked
it
it.
really irritated me that they kind of like they backdoor piloted season 3 of The Mandalorian into the Book of Boba Fett, and I was just kind of like, I don't like that. That's
Yeah, it was
it's just
interesting.
because like you had not only you had Din Djarin and Grogu, you also had Ahsoka in it, you also had
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker in it, and I'm just kind
Hmm.
of like, what do these got to do now? Obviously, Din Djarin and I guess Grogu for the most part did play a role in the Book of Boba Fett, but it was like, come on, we guys,
I know
what
it's
are we
like
doing here?
I know it was on the same timeline, but it almost felt like two universes colliding, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the Ahsoka series was it was good.
It was
It was
okay.
good.
It was okay. It was
Uh,
okay.
yeah, it was. There were some things, but for the most part, like I don't know if I am. I still don't know if I'm a huge fan of Sabine being a Jedi. Just
Yeah, not a huge fan
it's
of
kind
that
of.
one. Yeah, yeah.
But listen. I seeing Hayden Christensen again as Anakin Skywalker. I mean,
And,
I,
like,
I
live action Clone Wars, like,
it,
yeah.
I was not complaining. I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. This is nice. And something I loved about it was this uh, idea of these unorthodox Jedi that we've
Mhm,
gotten over the years.
mhm.
Because when we did the review of it, we were talking about how it just look at it. You had Count Dooku who trained Qui Gon. Both of them were probably unorthodox Jedi. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, Qui Gon trained Obi Wan. He's probably the outlier in this line of master and apprentice. But then,
Yeah.
you know, he trained Anakin. Anakin trains Ahsoka, and so on and so forth. Like it was such an interesting thing to look at how that line right there were probably more of a Jedi compared to like Mace Windu,
Oh, yeah.
Yoda, and so it was an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, and I always appreciate those types of perspectives, you know, especially when it comes to the Jedi. Like I love like a non-normal, like going out of their way to be a little bit different characters. So I can always appreciate that.
And then the sequel trilogy of films are definitely something of their own.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Force Awakens, it is like I think that's probably out of the three sequel trilogies, it's probably the best one.
I agree with that.
Even though it's a rehash of A New Hope,
Yeah, right, right, right.
it's, but it was still relatively good. The other two are just I don't know about those.
Tragic.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I love Rogue One.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't like Rogue? If you don't like Rogue One, like something's wrong with you.
Exactly, and so and then like it again, and like Andor combining it with Rogue One, like it just solidifies itself as like top 5 Star Wars projects
Peak.
for me. Like,
Absolutely peak. Yeah, 100%.
and so like obviously there's some things you kind of have to like get over because Rogue One did come first, and then you have Andor coming afterward, and it kind of changes some dynamics of what we saw in
Yeah.
Rogue One. But
Hmm.
other than that, I was just like, this is literally literally insane just watching all of Andor, and then you immediately go right into Rogue One, and then not even that. After Rogue One, you basically go right into A New Hope, and it's
Yep.
just
Yep.
that is a crazy set of sequences right
I
there.
I really appreciate how Dave Filoni and Tony Gilroy and everybody that's been working on these newer projects are working so hard to be strategic and to tie everything into the original movies that we love. And I can imagine it must be so hard, because there's so much in Star Wars. It's got to be so hard to figure out how to tie everything together. But so far, it's like I said, Dave Filoni, John Favreau, Tony Gilroy, they've all done such a good job, in my opinion, at tying everything back together.
So let me see if I can find one. Well, no, not that. Is it this? That's not that one. So let's see. Let me find. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. So I do have your Instagram page pulled up. Let me see if I can make this work. Give me 1 second. Oh, I know. This should be fine. I don't need. Let me adjust. Let me see if I can adjust. Oh, is it gonna let me? Oh, it will if I do this. Yeah, it is. Okay.
There we go.
So trying to change something here so I can block out these. Oh, I don't know if it will let me. Oh, this thing is okay. You know what? This is probably gonna have to do. Let me just do it this way. Then. All right, we'll just bring ourselves here. Pull ourselves there. Just want to try to block out the. There we go. This will work. Block out the comments. All right. Anyway, so this was your Padme one that you mentioned at the beginning.
Yes.
I think this was the one I saw.
Yeah.
I was like, because I scrolling. I was just like scrolling through, and then I saw the Padme. I was like, wait a second, let me back up here real quick. I was like, you know what? This is really cool. I really like it. I may have seen it on TikTok as well at some point, but I'm pretty sure it was on Instagram. So there's that, and then
my Padme is my pride and joy. She was the first cosplay that I built all by myself. Every last piece, with the exception of the printed 3D blaster that I got from Etsy. Everything about Padme was made on, like, I made it myself. So it was a really fun project. I was really proud of myself for that.
Tell us about this Ahsoka version.
Yeah. So, um, it's actually kind of a silly, crazy story. I just one day came upon a photo of Ahsoka, and it was an AI art interpretation of Ahsoka. And I think I have it pinned on my highlights on my Instagram. And it was an AI photo, and it was of her in a very similar outfit,
Mm-hmm.
but she had her white markings from being a Togruta. She had them all over her body. And I
Okay.
and I thought, and it was like a picture of her like dancing in the rain or something, again created by AI, with a very similar outfit on. And I just thought like it was literally such a beautiful interpretation of her. And I just thought to myself, like, that is literally the most unique version of Ahsoka I've ever seen. I have to make that. So that is where the idea birthed, to do this version of Ahsoka. I like to call her my black leather version of Ahsoka. And so pretty much from there, all it was, the leather suit came from Etsy, and then I took two pairs of orange stockings, one for my legs and one for my top half, and it just slapped a bunch of white paint on there, and I really didn't have any direction. I just kind of did what I felt was right, and I had my friends help me paint myself. And so the top half is a pair of stockings that you would usually wear on your legs. However,
Mm-hmm.
I cut a hole kind of in between the legs for my neck to go through, and then my arms go through the leg holes, and I painted
Oh.
all those up. And then the bottom half, of course, is stockings as well that I painted, and then I do the rest. My chest up is Mayron body paint. But that's really the backstory behind it. I just felt like that AI art interpretation was so beautiful, and it just really spoke to me for some reason.
Let's see. That's the wrong thing. No. I see you're a big fan of Invader Zim.
Yes, I love Invader Zim.
I also love Invader Zim. They one of my favorite shows. I could watch that show over and over again and never get bored with it.
Endlessly. I think, people ask you sometimes, what is the one TV show or movie that you could quote, backwards with your eyes closed? And it is absolutely Invader Zim. It was ahead of its time.
Let's see. Tell us about this cosplay.
Yeah, so that was at a convention called Holiday Matsuri. I go every year, and it's a well, not Christmas, it's a holiday themed convention. So you're encouraged to have some kind of holiday twist to your cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday night was the rave, and there was actually a bunny suit meetup. And unfortunately, I don't have the creator's name off the top of my head, but there's an Instagram creator that does a bunny suit meetup every year. And so all these super awesome cosplayers came in all sorts of different bunny suits. And we had a one giant meetup, took a bunch of pictures and videos. I saw two, like one was a Starbucks bunny and the other one was a Dunkin' Donuts bunny, which I thought was so creative. And so I found this costume online, and I regularly cosplay Gwen Stacy. So I figured, why not do a
Oh,
bunny suit Gwen Stacy?
so uh, so one of the things I'm always like curious about, because like obviously some people usually don't have like the confidence and things like that. What is it like for you, just in like regards to something like this, where like you bringing out a lot of like sexiness to it? I know some people uh they're fine and they're fine with doing it, and then others are kind of like, it's not really my kind of thing. Where are you along that line? Obviously, I mean, you have post on your Instagram and things like that. So what is that like for you, like having that confidence to wear particular style of cosplays?
I was very hesitant to do stuff like this at first. And it was unfortunately just because I feared backlash. Not
Mm.
not maybe just from, people in my life, but even strangers online. It's hard to get that kind of criticism. But in my head, life is just too short, and I'm confident in my body. I'm confident in myself, and life is too short, and I want to be able to cosplay whoever the heck I want, whenever the heck I want. And if that's a bunny suit Gwen Stacy or a bikini, anime girl, I should be able to do it without worrying about what people have to say. So I always encourage my friends, do what you're comfortable with. If it's not something that you're comfortable with, then don't do it. And it's not that big of a deal. But um, to me, life is just too short. I just want to have fun, and I want to look good when I'm having fun. And the world deserves to see that version of me.
I like that. I like that. So let me see where I'm looking for. Uh, so is this a Princess Leia style of?
Yes. So that is actually based off of my Mandalorian armor. So my Mandalorian armor is red, white, and blue. Non-ironically, did not intend for it to be America themed, but it's more of like it's more of like a deep, almost a blood red and like a teal. With the white color, and I enjoyed what the colors symbolized with Mandalorian armor, which is why I created my armor off of that. And so I had a very wonderful cosplay friend of mine print that um, Leia costume, and he painted it for me and finished all of it for me and based it off of my Mandalorian armor. So actually, that day that I wore it to that con, I had my Mandalorian helmet with me. So it was supposed to be a mashup of Hut Slayer Leia and my Mandalorian OC.
Oh, okay. Is that so? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, this is nice.
Oh yes, my Ahsoka. Yeah. So Princess Anna being one of the very first cosplays that I did, and then Ahsoka, matching them up together really was the whole inspiration behind my Instagram. And I found so many similarities between myself and Princess Anna when I was much younger, and then as I grew older, again a bunch of similarities between myself and Ahsoka, that I thought, why not mash them two together? So she's kind of like my unofficial mascot of my Instagram, and I really only bring her around like during Christmas time.
So, oh, is this a Twi'lek Tomb Raider style?
So there's really no rhyme or reason behind that outfit. My friends and I at the time, we just wanted to get together and film some content and take some pictures at my friend's house. So I just threw together like an in-world cosplay, and it was during the summertime here in Florida, and I didn't want to wear something super hot,
That's
so I
fair.
just threw head tails on and kind of put an in-world kind of costume together, and we just literally were together all day long taking pictures and filming content and stuff. It was super fun.
Let me see. You know what? This one's probably my all-time favorite. I could go May.
Oh, Kagome. Yeah, I think that was, I'm trying to think, that might have been my first anime cosplay. Because for majority of my time as a cosplayer, I've done Star Wars or Disney. So Kagome was really my first, and that is just simply an Amazon bought cosplay. But it was the first time that I really kind of full sent on makeup, and that was the cosplay that really helped me hone my skills on proper makeup etiquette for
Oh,
conventions.
okay.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Listen, I love a good Inuyasha style cosplay, so
Yeah.
you'll have no complaints from me whatsoever. So you were completely
Inuyasha's
good.
so classic.
It is. It is. Except for like it's such a like 2000s thing, but like whenever it would show on Adult Swim at night, it's one of those situations where for some reason your TV is extra loud when the show is going off and it just wakes you up in the middle of the night. It's just like
Yes.
literally,
Yeah.
literally insane.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
that's such a good point.
and so let's see. And this last one, what is this?
So that was when Return of the Jedi was back in theaters for, I want to say, the 20 or 25th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
And wearing, at the time, the only Star Wars cosplay I had was Ahsoka. I hadn't built Padme yet. So wearing my Ahsoka cosplay into the movie theater was going to be very uncomfortable because the headpiece is so bulky in the back.
Mhm.
So I decided to create, I was going with a group of Star Wars cosplayers, and so I decided to create like a human Ahsoka that would be a lot more comfortable to wear at the movie theaters. And so that was my outfit for the night. And that is a full send body paint. Like there is no stockings on. Like that is full scent. My basically my entire body is orange.
How long does it take you to put all that on, the makeup and the body paint?
It usually anywhere between 2 to 4 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like I think the earliest I've ever gotten up is 3:30 or 4 in the morning to make it on time to a con. But it's worth it. When I'm doing it, I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this? It's like 4 a.m. and I'm trying to put contacts in. But like, when I get to the convention and I'm walking around, I really feel like I embody the spirit of Ahsoka. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I do it. It's so much fun.
That's that's a lot of dedication. I don't know if I have that kind of dedication to do that. So
Yeah.
um so I do know most cosplayers they sell prints and things like that. Do you do that kind of thing for your fans or anything like that, like a Patreon, things like that?
Yeah, I don't currently have anything set up. I am sort of just now getting into that kind of stuff. I've had the opportunity to guest at two conventions so far this year, which I'm super, super grateful for. And that was really the first time that I started selling anything personalized. So
Mm.
I actually have a ton of prints sitting over here on my shelf. So I mean, if anybody wants some, it would just be a method of reaching out to me, and it would nothing would make me happier. But I typically physically will bring them to these cosplay conventions that I'm
Mm.
guesting at and sell them there. But maybe I should set up a Patreon. That actually sounds like a great idea.
um, so who are some cosplay, or well, not just cosplay, but maybe like content creators in general that that kind of I'm trying to think how I want to word it. That you adore, like that you just follow and give you inspiration to continue making new cosplays.
Yeah, so I have a couple that come to mind. Alice and Tabitha is a cosplayer or content creator that in your words, absolutely adore. I discovered her when I was building Ahsoka for the first time, and I had no experience with body paint, or how to use foam because my first headpiece was out of EVA foam. And Alice and Tabitha had like three different Ahsoka Tano cosplay videos. One how to sew her outfit, the second how to build the headpiece, and the third how to do the body paint. And so I watched Alice and Tabitha like for hours at a time, like studying her. Her videos were on in the background as I'm building, and she was really a catalyst to my skills, and how to build. And I've had the wonderful opportunity of meeting her like 3 or 4 times now, as she's come to Florida for several cosplay guest experiences, and she is just an absolute angel. She is so sweet. I show her pictures of what I've built in the past, and she's the kind of person that'll hold your hands and look you in the eyes and tell you how wonderful you are. And so she is just a huge inspiration to me because, I think that a lot of the times you can find these big content creators kind of forgetting how to remain humble
Hmm.
and forgetting that, they're human as well. And Allison Tabitha is not one of those people. She is very sweet and she'll take the time to listen to you, hear you, talk to you, even if she has a big line of people waiting for her. So I really, really look up to her.
I think you follow some people that I've had on before. Looks like
Oh, yeah.
see Hannah Dove, she's one.
Oh my God, I love her. She's so great.
she was uh she was one of the early people that came on because like side note, because the channel, the link that I sent you to the podcast channel, this was technically new. This one was started back in I think July of last year.
Oh, wow.
There are actually 78 other podcast episodes that I've done, but
Yeah,
they're all on my main gaming channel. And what happened was at the time it was all one place for everything, the
sure.
podcasting, the gaming, and then I decided to just break things up and just put things in different locations.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hannah was one of the early ones I believe that came on.
God, she's magnificent. I love
Yeah,
her.
she's
Very
great.
talented.
Let's see, Party Hardy Cosplay
Okay.
is another one. She's been on, and then uh, it's really I think that's relatively it that I see. But so there's been a few. There's been a few.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch Hannah's. That I didn't realize that. She's the sweetheart. I love her.
She's actually supposed to come back on. I need to get back in contact. I've just been, you know, handling
Life
YouTube channels
life
and
is
stuff
life.
like that. And
Yeah.
uh, so before we wrap up, when it comes to the cosplay like conventions and community and things like that, what are some things that personally just for you that you would like to maybe see like improved, whether it's conventions, the cosplay community as a whole? What are some areas that you feel uh, can see more growth and continue to be better in that aspect?
This is a really great question. And alternatively, it's a hard question at the same time, because it's like how can I answer this? I think the biggest thing for me is just from cosplaying for so long, I've watched it go from the cosplay community go from you know just going to cosplay conventions just to have fun, go for
Mhm.
the day, go to the panels, go to the raves, stay up crazy late, enjoy yourself, to now it feels more sometimes it can feel more like a popularity competition, if I'm being completely honest. Whoever has the most followers, who has the best cosplay, whether it was handmade or bought off, whatever. And so I would just love to see the cosplay community go back to just having fun. That's to me, because to me that's what it's about. To me,
Mhm.
it's not about who has the most followers. It's not about who has the best cosplay on. I've literally seen scenarios where if two female cosplayers are wearing the same cosplay, like for some reason they hate each other and they have it out against each other. Like, no, if I spot another Ahsoka, I'm going to welcome them into my life. I'm going to welcome them in as a friend. We have a commonality. We both like Star Wars. There's just no need for all of this. And so I I try not to surround myself with negative people, so I don't really experience this too much in my cosplay life. But
Mhm.
looking from the outside in, I see some negativity that really breaks my heart sometimes, and I'm just coming to have fun. So hopefully, you know more people can start coming to these cons and stop worrying about what they look like, and just having fun and making friends.
That's good. I like that. I like that because because sometimes I will come across TikToks. It's mainly the TikToks side of things, and obviously it's just always something. And
Always.
you will have bad apples that will ruin the bunch for everybody, and it's you know just the same thing in life. You'll have bad people ruin good things for good people, but
Yeah. Yep.
definitely try to get those out for sure.
Yep.
And just from what I've seen from cosplay community, like everybody, they're all very welcoming, and if you've never cosplayed before, they're willing to help you out, get you started, that kind of thing. And so
Yep.
it's a pretty good it's a pretty good community to be a part of for sure.
Oh, for sure. I wouldn't change it for the world. And, for every one negative person, there's 100 positive people. They come a dime a dozen. It sucks when they come, but I wouldn't change my cosplay experience for the world.
No. All right, guys, that is where we will end this episode of the Nerd Talk podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. For those who are watching, how can they follow and support you? I don't think you have a link tree on your thing on your
I guess,
Instagram.
yeah, I guess you're right. I don't. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time. I really, really am so honored to have been invited on here. My biggest platform is Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at shiliprincess, and I'm also on TikTok under the same name, Shili Princess, Shili Princess.
All right. And then I'll have it linked down in the description below. That way people just go click on the link and things like that. Um, Well, guys, that's relatively it. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you check out the gaming channel. We are still going through our series of Star Wars Empire at War, Awakening the Clone Wars. And then I believe as of right now, this Thursday, June 19th, I will be live streaming on Twitch and Kick, Batman Arkham Asylum. And so and then other things as well, because we got movie reviews to do also. So we are very busy over here. Um, Thank you for coming on. Very much look forward to having you on again in the future.
Thank you.
Guys, definitely go give a follow. Thank you for hanging out, and we will see you in the next video. You guys have a good one.